Good afternoon, gamers. Jero back. More VOD reviews. New competitor in the arena for the second video in a row. We have Terasadon, who is, at this point in our recording, 2-1, playing in a Thursday night fight event with Kaisa. So, I thought this match was interesting for a couple reasons as I was fanning through. I think Kaisa and Viktor are decks that you want to be aware of and kind of see more gameplay for them. We've only seen one Viktor matchup previously on the video from the Viktor POV, and then we saw at the very beginning of the channel last week a Kaisa mirror match in a finals of what I think was one of the Rift maxing events. So I think it's pretty valuable to get a little more Kaisa gameplay in and also showcase some other creators as well. So I think this is a win-win, and obviously at the 2-1 spot in the event. So I think we have some probably pretty good lists to go through. And without further ado, let's get into the games. Void Ray, Hopeful, Hexed Cleave. I think that makes a lot of sense. You do not want the Hopeful without another thing to play it off of. You never want to spend 4 resources on that guy, that's for sure. And we drew a student. Very important. Very important for us to keep tempo. And we are on the play. And leading on the student. Yeah, our hand, if we don't draw that student, would have been horrific. Really nice hits. Really nice hits. Now, we're probably just jamming Kaisa this turn. We don't have anything else to do. And I do not think we're in a spot where we want to sit on our resources, right? I think we're totally happy to let the student kind of go to the wayside. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy play Kaisa angle. And then our whole hand is interaction. So I think it's going to be very important to protect this Kaisa after the fact. But yeah, for right now, I think we're chilling. So it is 2 victory points apiece because of Arena's Greatest. Opponent has Seal into Evangel. Let's go ahead and get our trademark pause in. Looks like Tara's having a good old time, just relaxing in the comfort of his own home. You love to see it. We have got Evangel was the name of this card. Bum, 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 bum. Evangel. Where are you? There we go. Boom. Death Knell, play 3 recruits to your base. Very nice. And format. Not too shabby. Alright, play goes on. And so we're up to 5 on the left side of the battlefield. We definitely want to conquer with Kaisa. So right off the rip, it looks like we're Void Seekering down the Evangel. Interesting. So we drew Sentry. I think the logic behind Tara choosing to use Void Seeker here is just because the rest of our cards are reactions, I believe. So this is our only opportunity to play it in this turn cycle. It is an action, so we wouldn't have to do that. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense to play one of our cheap cards either. I do think playing an expensive card makes a lot of sense. I assume we're going to follow up the rest of this turn with Sentry plus sit on one of our 1-cost spells. Presumably Retreat being the one I think we are most likely to play, if I was a guessing man. But I think other than that, all of this makes sense. I think after backtracking, the Void Seeker makes a lot of sense. We go for the Conquer plus draw. We go up to 4 victory points because our student held. What did we draw? I think I'm misunderstanding. Did we use a student? I feel like we drew an extra card more than what I was planning. And we are retreating the student, which I think makes a decent bit of sense. And there's... Oh, no, this is all right, because I had said that we were going to play the Sentry. And I think this is perfect. I think you could make an argument to not retreat the student there, with the logic being, if they're taking over War Camp on the right-hand side, then that makes it less likely that they're going to be able to also conquer Kaisa. And I think if we don't have to use Recall or Cleave on this Kaisa, that's really good. But I see the logic. I'm just kind of putting out a different point of view. I do not think by any means that that's a mistake. I do think that you're reasonably likely to hold one of them on the assumption that they probably want to focus going after Kaisa anyways. Alright, so I would be inclined to retreating here. We could go for Cleave, but I think Cleave's a little risky. I would want to retreat, probably. Oh, he's going Ray. Ray is really interesting. Wow. I like it. And it works. It works. I would have thought going for one of those was pretty risky, and that retreat would have been a better line, but he goes for the higher payoff, and he gets big time rewarded. Big time rewarded. You love to see it. And the fact that they have 3 in, I guess the student would have been a 3 as well. Yeah, I mean, 2 while attacking, right? War Camp is always +1. If it's always +1, right? I'm pretty sure it's always +1. Trifarian War Camp, always +1, right? Units here have +1. I thought so. All right, back in. So Kaisa probably want to retreat so we can try and reconquer plus draw next turn. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. We've already got the point for holding. I think we're kind of inclined to try and fight a little bit over the right side battlefield, just because we want to. I think we want to go up to 6 points this turn, if possible. We've got Darius in play. We definitely retreat Kaisa, like I called out. I think that play makes a lot of sense. And then I think we're supposed to play a spell here to proc Darius. Our opponent only has access to 1 energy plus, you know, the 1 recycle from the seal. We're stupefying. I think stupefy makes the most sense, because then it lets us keep up both cleave and retreat again. I think that makes a lot of sense. So then we go up to 8 from the war camp, full clear, go up to 6 victory points. And yeah, so far this is kind of looking like a thrashing. Kind of just your stock Kaisa gameplay. It had a couple really good fortunate draws, right? We hit the student off our mulligan, and our turn 2 Kaisa was never really in danger. And yeah, opponent just wraps it up. Very, very quick game 1 for Terasadon. You love to see it. You love to see it. Yeah, that game felt pretty straightforward. We were just always ahead on resources. The only play that I think is even kind of, you know, interesting contextually to talk about is the retreat on the student, which ended up working out great, right? Because the retreat on the student would have just gotten beat up in combat by the extra little 1/1 tokens, right? 1 might tokens. So the one play that I thought like looked a little suspicious, Terasadon was proved correct. And then we went for the, what I would say maybe potentially a little greedy, 1 cost spell, the Hex Bolt, right? Whatever the name of that card is. One of these days, man. One of these days. Yeah, the Hextech Ray. I thought that was like maybe a little greedy, because I felt like at that point of the game we were kind of dependent on the Kaisa, but we had also already drawn the Darius, so maybe that's not even true. I think Terra played that game great, utilizing all of Kaisa's strengths. Viktor going to be on the play this game, and this game we have another Arena's Greatest, this time versus Dreaming Tree. Throwing the Sentry back, I think we can get away with that because we are going to be going second, and we are going to be having access to our turn 1 Yordle. Very good turn 1 play when we're on the draw. Keeps Retreat. I like keeping Retreat. Especially when you already have the Yordle. Like, you kind of already have a very, very good target for it. And I think drawing the Watcher makes our late game situation already look quite a bit better as well. So we already kind of have a nice little curve set up. And opponent starting off with a one might robot again. And we are jumping off to some very quick tempo. You love to see it. That Stupefy, I think, gives us enough redundancy with our 1 resource that I would be surprised if we don't just jam Kai'Sa next turn. We could accelerate her, but I don't think there's a lot of benefit to doing that. Putting her at risk without having access to one of our spells up to protect her. I would be pretty interested, I think, in... I think you send... Pause here, because I think discussing our play before we, again, are clouded by what Tera decides to do. My gut instinct was to send Yordle right and Stupefy, because you know there's no counterplay, right? You know it's just you just get to eat the two robots, and we get to draw our card, and we get to base our Kai'Sa. But the more I'm looking at it, the more I kind of think sending left and not fighting and letting them hold, and then playing Kai'Sa on our base might be better. Just to make sure I understand all of the things in play, I'm going to check over just and make sure what is that unit there. That is the manufacturer, right? When you play me, you get a 1-run recruit. I thought so. Okay. So, yeah, I would be really inclined to send left, I think. I think sending right and using Stupefy and going ahead and drawing the card and basing your Kai'Sa is fine, but I think I like sending left and potentially getting a card out of our opponent. I don't think we care about these robots all that much, but I think both plays are good. I'm interested to see kind of how Tera plays this out. I'm very confident that we don't want to accelerate Kai'Sa, because we don't want to put her in any danger when we have so many protective elements. Oh, and we're just going right to Falling Star. Wow, I did not think this was the line. I didn't even clock this one in my discussion. Very interesting. I didn't think of the robot and the engineers being that big of a threat. I wonder if I'm wrong about that. I do think that this cleans up a very good trade here. We get our victory point, prevent the hold point, and we kind of get a 3-for-1-ish. I mean, I don't know if you are supposed to count the robots as real cards, but all right. I'm not a hater of that play at all. I think I would have leaned towards getting Kai'Sa in play just for the early Conquer draw. Oh, well, I mean, this makes Tera's play look good if, I mean, they have the Vanguard Captain as well, unfortunately, so maybe not. But the idea, I think, was looking good if you were just trying to keep their board clear so Baited Hook was less of a threat. Yeah, now we're just Kai'Sa conquering for sure and drawing the card. And this is why I think the line last turn makes a lot of sense, because we once again have the important part of this game plan, which is just protecting our Kai'Sa, right? I think you never really want to go in for the Kai'Sa conquer without having a way to protect her. Alright, so sending in, they've got to have something. It's probably Might, yeah. Or Call, that's what I meant, Call. I think we're obliged to play one of our cards here. I think it's for sure Retreat. We get our resource. Pretty happy that it's a red rune. They conquer, they go up to 4. And they're probably going to baited hook the Vanguard captain away, I would assume. Yep. And now we have a lot of cards in hand, but our opponent is not light on cards, and they've got baited hook going. So we are definitely in the danger zone. We do have Watcher and Kaisa next turn, so we have a lot of avenues. We could definitely, with 8 resources next turn, we have the potential for a very strong turn. We can definitely do some Kaisa plus Void Seeker nonsense. Oh, they got Matron. Yep, and they are just making a gigantic Arena's Greatest. Let's see, what is that? That is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. We're close, though. We're actually so close. No, we actually can get it to 8. Oh, we actually... Wait. We really want our opponent, I think, to spend their 4 resources here. Because if they tap out for, like, just, like, random unit, we actually can Watcher. Well, not now. Not if they're hiding a card. Damn. I was going to say we could Watcher plus Stupefy next turn. Oh, no, we couldn't even do that anyways. Yeah, because it would take all of our resources for the Watcher. Unlucky. All right, so our opponent is on the... They're ahead on tempo because they have more victory points than us. I think. I can't actually see the victory points from the way Tara's got his camera angled. I guess I should probably move my camera as well. It's a little bit better now. And, yeah, so they're ahead on tempo with the victory points, and they've just decided they're going to try and go for Monster Hold, which I think makes sense. Making such a big hold also means that we kind of don't get our tanking value out of Yordle, because they're just sending so much combat in that they're going to be able to kill everything anyways. I think Void Seeker on the Matron makes a lot of sense. And then I kind of... Is it worth playing Darius and sending in for 9? 5, 6, 7? It might be. I mean, what is the hidden card likely to be? The hidden card is likely to be, I guess, the knife card, right? The destroy to draw 2. And then you only get to trade your Yordle for 2 robots if that's the case. But then we get to draw 2 more cards? I mean, it's very tough. I don't think we need to sit on Stupefy, right? Like, I don't think we need to hold any resources up. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me here, because we're not going to be fighting over left. Maybe we're Darius lefting? Oh, we're Kaisa lefting. I mean, we do get to draw another card that way. Yeah, I think I don't like this, but I kind of get it. And then we're just leaving Yordle in our base, which that I do think makes sense. So we were right about the Hidden Blade card. So we're just going to draw 2 off of our little robot. I think that makes a lot of sense. And we're retreating everything? They should be exhausted, right? I'm pretty sure all of those units are exhausted. And we are playing Call. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of why I don't like tapping out for the Kaisa play. But maybe Tara was just thinking he, like, wanted to keep tempo. And now the enemy's plan is to... I'm surprised that they're not going for any hold. I guess they just think it's so much more likely that they can double conquer next turn. I'm not sure I agree. I guess it depends what they get off this baited hook. Being able to baited hook away the temporary spite is really powerful. That's for sure. I wonder if that would... I mean, that kind of signals to me maybe that they have stratagem in their hand. Because it's not immediately obvious to me that this board otherwise is strong enough to guarantee Double conquer. As it stands now, I think we're still in the middle of resolving this baited hook, no? I think we are. We draw. We have access to 9 resources. None of it's pretty good, though. And our Terra's covering his victory points, but I'm pretty sure we're only at 4 or 5 victory points. And then we just have to do our best to prevent double conquer, which means there's no reason to really sit on retreats. He's just stupefying to draw a card. I mean, my gut instinct would be save that as a trick and maybe our opponent messes up the attack for combat next turn, but I guess that is very unlikely to happen, right? I think it's very unlikely to happen. I mean, we probably are just supposed to... Oh, wait, does rain do anything here? 3, 6, 7, 8? What does rain do? 1, 2, 3, 4? Rain is close. Rain is really close. It's not quite enough, though. It's not quite enough. Let's set up a pause there and make sure it's 5 times, right? You get to rain 5 times, I think. I think you get to rain 5 times. Six times. 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leave them with 3 1 might units. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then you only have the 1 resource left. It's just not enough. You have to... so he is considering playing it, but I think he knows it's not enough, right? I actually think the better line is, since we've drawn that card, I think we're just supposed to reinforce to the moon with our Yordle on left side and pray. They get to draw a card for Conquering Right for free. Best case scenario for us, but I think this, like, we just lose on board, right? Yeah, I think we just lose this on board. I mean, I guess they could have no accelerate, right? They could have no accelerate, no combat enhance. That seems so unlikely, though. I still maybe would have gone for the hopeful play. I feel like the hopeful play is slightly better. All right, so they conquer right. They get to draw their card, and we're just dead here for sure, right? What is it? What is it? Watcher, maybe? Watcher for the win. Watcher for the win. Gantrex wins this game, and we're going on to a third and final game. Really well played. That baited hook into Matron was insane. That was basically... That took the game from... close. We had a lot of ways that we were going to be able to spend our resources the following couple turns to really just put them over the edge on the board. Really added a lot of might to the board. Seeing a little sideboarding. I think being on the play will help us out a lot here. I wonder if the Yordles come out when you're going to be on the play again. It's very interesting to me. I haven't, in a lot of these VODs, done a lot of sideboarding prep. Now that I think I understand a lot more of the cards and matchups, I want to make sure that we're doing that as well. And I'm very interested to see if people think that Yordle is just particularly good in some matchups, especially these ones where you're flooding the board and can take advantage of tanking, or if it's just something that you want access to in games where you're going second. All right. How many time warps is that? Well, it looks like we're cutting a time warp for another Darius. I think that makes sense. Darius is just so big, and he can be a very relevant play at a much earlier point of the game, right? But I hope that doesn't bring us to 0 time warp. Maybe it's okay. Maybe this isn't a time warp centric matchup. I could kind of see that too. If you can handle the early flood to the board, or not let baited hook get completely out of reach, you're probably pretty happy just playing a fair game, and you don't have to do any kind of combo cheese. All right, so we've got Targons versus That one does not immediately ring a bell to me. Targons versus the Grand Plaza. When you hold here, if you have 7+ units here, you win the game. Okay. Okay. I do not think that that's something we have to be afraid of, but noted. Noted. Alternate win condition heard. All right. We're holding rain. Interesting. Oh, drawing that sentry is really big. Because I assume we're on the play, yes? All right, very nice. Have access to cleaving next turn if we want. Probably don't need to, though. And then we are already... Oh, is this... Oh, no. They've got the Vanguard start. No. Oh, man. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. I mean, we're probably conquering and then reinforcing, right? I don't see much reason to do anything else. But now it's really interesting, right? We're kind of enticed. Yeah, we kind of want to ready our resources, but we don't really just want them to be able to flood into Plaza, do we? Looks like Tera's considering Kaisa. I think I like this. I think I like this. It's hard to know for sure. I don't think we need the extra card from Yordle. Actually, you know what? I think I would have been wanting to jam Kaisa, but saving the Accelerate for later in the game makes a lot of sense, so I don't dislike this play by any stretch. They're sending the Warden in. I mean, you don't want to retreat this. You would much rather save retreat for Yordle. I mean, you're probably okay just... Yeah, I think you just let it happen. You're probably pretty interested... Let's see, if the opponent doesn't hide anything on the right-hand side, I'm probably immediately interested in doing some Cleave plus Darius nonsense next turn. You don't want to get rid of too many of your resources, because I think you want to set up this rain. Doing a little bit of reinforcing. And manufacturer. Probably. And then making another one. All right, so they're working on the flooding the board tactic. I'm probably pretty interested in, I think, sending Yordle. All right, so if you send Yordle right, it's kind of free. But I would have a lot of interest, I think, in just accelerating Kaisa, sitting on our 2 1-cost spells, and sending both left. With the logic being, we conquer, we actually get to use the tanking ability on the Yordle. We get to trade Yordle for both of the units left side. And then, assuming the Conqueror sticks, we get to ready more resources and have access to all of our spells. I think that's pretty good. And then that we'll still have 7 next turn, which means we could still rain next turn. if we want, which I think is very important. I think that's kind of one of the reasons you don't want to double recycle this turn. I know that for sure. I guess you don't even really have the ability to double recycle because it's only spells, so that's kind of a moot point, but it's not clear to me that we want to play the Rain next turn. But because of the fear of Plaza, I think we at least want the ability to. Yeah, I think I would conquer. I think I would accelerate Kaisa and conquer left. But there's a lot of options here. I'm really excited to see how Terra plays it out. A lot of good options here. Alternatively, you could just Darius plus Cleave. That might just be safer because of the resources the opponent is representing, but I think this play is good too. I think this play is totally fine. The Cleave is I guess I like it less, if I'm being honest. But I get the fear. I mean, I get it. And now we're just Dariusing, right? Yep. Boom! And even call only makes that a trade, so I think we're pretty happy with that. I think this play is good. I don't dislike this play at all. I don't dislike this play at all. Maybe there's a world where I would want to flip those, right? Because they had 4 here and 2 here. But then you make that play and then the call eats your Yordle, which is not ideal. But then it makes sure your Darius is always safe. I think this sequencing is better. I think the way Terra played it is better. But again, interesting things that we like to think about here. We're up a lot of cards. I think this game is going well for us. The Vanguard Captain turn 1 start scared us a little bit, but as long as we're dodging baited hook, I think we're pretty happy with playing a grindy, a grindy kind of mid-game set of sequences. We are playing Spite Mother. So they're sending in here. So now we've got options. Are we smoke screening or retreating? I think my gut instinct is smoke screening. Yes, I like smoke screening here, I'm pretty sure. With the logic being, like, I think we want to take advantage of, like, the having 2 resources up and our Kaisa ready. Retreat's just so much easier to fit into a turn cycle than the smoke screen is. And now here, like, drawing second retreat's not even that bad. Like, retreat's just a totally, like, very, very reasonable modal card to have access to in the mid-game. I definitely like this play, since we double held. Yeah, I mean, double holding here is really powerful. I mean, I think we're pretty happy to sit on our tricks, no? I don't think there's any reason to do... Like, I do think we should play the Yordle from our hand, right? Because we get to ready our resources from Targon's Peak anyways. I'm really interested in that. I think I would have played Yordle just in our base. I don't think I would have wanted to reinforce anything. Oh, well, that I see what happened is he didn't ready his resource. Oh, it's only when you conquer. He doesn't get to ready his So Terra's play is 100% right then. Terra's play is 100% right. You only get the Targon's Peak mana ready ability the turn that you conquer it. Okay. Are they going for the full 7 hold? I mean, 1 more unit plus ability, they could get there. Oh, they're going for it. They are going for it. So, once again, Terra's kind of got his victory points hid, so we don't know how many victory points we're at. I assume we've got to be at, like, going up to 6 minimum here from this Darius hold, right? It's got to be. And then we've got Rain. Oh, and we just drew Falling Star. We didn't even need the Falling Star. We had Rain, which was just going to clean up this board big time. We are just going to play, yep. Get all the recycling and clean up the board. No free Plaza win for you, enemy. Yeah, we're just killing all the 3s, right? I think we just kill all the 3s. Makes a lot of sense to me. And then that leaves us, we don't care about the Spite. That's gonna, the little Sprite's gonna be dead anyway, so there's effectively 4 that we're combating. Okay, so maybe we do care because maybe we are falling starring still. No, we're just yordling to ready that way. So that means we're just sending Darius by itself, right? Because I think we want to draw the card off Kaisa. Yeah, I like this play. Send in Darius by himself, get the full sweep, the full trade, 7 versus 7, and then we just conquer with Kaisa, get our point and draw a card. I like this. Oh, they were just showing the top card. I was going to say, where did that call from? It looked like it came from the top. Yeah, so I assume that means that we were at 6 points at the start of that turn. The Darius hold was 6, and then the Kaisa Conqueror is 7, is I assume what that means. Very well played by Tera. Really liked seeing that gameplay. Very important to see that gameplay, right? Because I'm not sure that Kaisa is going to be one of the first decks that I build, but it's very clearly, at this point, if not the best deck, one of the best decks that you need to be preparing for and have a really good, clean understanding of how it functions, right? In my days of, playing competitive Magic, one of the things that I've learned is a lot of times the events that I have done the best in are when I know what deck I'm going to play and I'm well practiced on it, but then I would spend my other practice time playing the other decks so that I would have a much more kind of like integral POV understanding of how they operate as well. And I think that's really important. I think that's kind of a lost skill set because when you can put yourself in the position of your opponent, really kind of sink in and sympathize, understand the plays that your opponent is trying to make on a level where you really know what they're trying to piece together, I think that ends up being a really, really efficient way to practice. Again, assuming that you're playing your deck well, right? But yeah, no, I think those games were fantastic. Tera seems like he has a very clear understanding of Kaisa and knew what he was doing, and a lot of those plays looked awesome. Deck looked awesome. You can totally see why it's kind of the reigning menace still at the moment, why a lot of the best players are deciding to bring it. And yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for us today. If you liked the video as much as I did, throw me out a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It helps the channel quite a bit. And yeah, I think until next time, peace!